Stepping across that line was a great honor. A lot of progress has been made. A lot of friendships have been made, and this has been in particular a great friendship.
That was Donald Trump following his visit and his travel to North Korea. He is the first sitting US president who has crossed the demilitarized zone and into North Korea. And I don't really know what they talked about, but after he did that, there was apparently an hour-long meeting, give or take, with Kim Jong-un. And of course, this has to do with denuclearizing North Korea. However, this effort of diplomacy has not led to any type of new deal with Kim Jong-un, but it did lead to quite a photo op for Donald Trump, which I'll take if he's taking a diplomatic route that actually leads to real progress. So far, it has not.
All right, so let's do nuance here. First of all, I don't care that much about diplomatic minutia that people are over focusing on, like him going to the DMZ, the first sitting president to cross over and enter North Korea. Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter have gone to North Korea, but they did it for diplomacy reasons and getting hostages out, et cetera.
After
they had left office, that's right. And some people are making a big deal out of he decided this at the last second and it was hard for his staff to catch up. He's the president, he's allowed to make those decisions last second and his staff will have to catch up. So I don't have problems with any of that stuff. But the North Koreans do care that a sitting US president goes into North Korea. They view that as a huge coup and are really excited about that. In fact, the New York Times quotes Mr. Kim. They say he is exuberant. He's told Trump, it's good to see you again. I never expected to meet you in this place. So what does that tell you? That means you could have gotten a concession out of the North Koreans for going to the demilitarized zone and then stepping into North Korea because they value it greatly. But Trump, as usual, didn't do his homework, didn't ask anybody. So it's not about the last minute thing and it's not about where he is. Who cares if he goes into North Korea if you ask me if we get peace, right? But he didn't get anything in return. He never gets anything in return. He is the world's worst negotiator, which goes to the most important issue. This guy is they've got a saying, all hat and no cattle. And in Trump's case, it's all ass hat and no cattle. And so what did you get in return? They've done missile tests while you were quote unquote negotiating with them.
That's right.
And they've built up their nuclear stockpile more. So we've literally gotten nothing out of these negotiations. We've gone backwards.
Yeah, you know what Trump got out of the negotiations? Something to campaign on. Look, you have to take a step back and look at what Trump has failed to accomplish for his base. The only thing that Trump has succeeded in thus far has been tax cuts for the wealthy, which of course do not poll well with his base or with Americans overall. So he has attempted to negotiate or renegotiate trade deals. He's failed on that front. If anything, that has led to a little bit of turbulence within the stock market. But there are farmers who have voted for Trump in the middle of the country who have been hurt by his trade wars. When it comes to building the wall, obviously Trump hasn't actually succeeded in building a wall. And more importantly, Mexico hasn't paid for building the wall. The only stories we hear is that there is a migrant crisis at the border. We hear that over and over again. Is that really delivering something for Trump's base? No. So this is his way of making himself out to be this great negotiator, this great deal maker who has the ability to sit down and have a conversation with Kim Jong-un as if previous presidents wouldn't be able to do the exact same thing. So for instance, Trump argued that that Obama was dying to have a meeting like this, but he couldn't succeed in doing it. Yeah, that's a lie, okay? Obama was not dying to sit down with Kim Jong-un. Now, Obama could have possibly approached things from a more diplomatic standpoint, and maybe he could have negotiated a deal with Kim Jong-un. Obama certainly would be better at negotiating a deal than Trump has been, carrying this out. He hasn't negotiated a deal. In fact, immediately after the first summit, he said, that's it, North Korea has denuclearized. We have nothing to worry about anymore. Have they actually done that? Of course not. They continued with their nuclear program and they, as Jake mentioned, did test a missile.
Yeah, so look, press, you gotta be clear. You think you're being tough on Trump, you're not. The headline from the Obama quote from Trump should be, President Trump lies about the former president. Everyone involved knows that Obama did not ask for a meeting with Kim Jong-un. You could criticize him for not asking for a meeting, that would be legitimate. but he never asked for one, and Kim Jong-un would have loved to have a meeting with Obama. Everyone who knows anything about North Korea knows that. If you're a reporter and you don't know that, you should be fired immediately, because you don't know any of the facts. I mean, it's pretty Trumpy if you don't know that. Kim Jong-un would have loved Obama to come to the DMZ and step over to the other side and tell him how much he loves Kim Jong-un. He would have loved for Obama to say, I have fallen in love with the dictator in North Korea. Obama didn't want to do any of that. So on that portion, Trump 100% lie. And if you don't call it a lie, his followers are gonna be like, well, he said it, so it must be true, right? And then now let's get to, I think, the most important part of this. Again, all hat, no cattle. Quote here from Trump. He said, there was great conflict here prior to our meeting in Singapore, which was an earlier diplomatic meeting they had. Tremendous conflict and death all around them, and it's now been extremely peaceful. It's been a whole different world. It's just, again, not remotely true. It's not like we were in the middle of a war, so there'd be little flare-ups here and there. But the problem with North Korea is not an immediate conflict that we were in the middle of. The problem is that while we're not having a conflict, which is a good thing, North Korea continues to build up its nuclear stockpile. And they now have added 6 more nuclear weapons according to our experts, our intelligence officials, okay? So while Trump is playing patty cakes with this dictator, and again, I don't have to say believe it or not, because if you ever watch the Young Turks cover this North Korea issue and Trump, we've said it every single time. We're actually rooting for him. We want him to get a good peace deal that eliminates North Korea's nukes, kind of like Obama did with Iran. That would be great. I like that he's doing diplomacy, but God damn it, he's so bad at it. And then he turns around and lies and says, oh, we fixed this thing. No, you didn't fix a goddamn thing. They don't just have the nukes they already had, they now have more nukes.
That's right.
And they've done more testing. It's like the president being a goddamn liar is a problem. It's a giant problem.
And you should call it what it is. It's a lie. He lies over and over again, and there's this weird timidness from reporters when it comes to using that word. Anyway, we've had that debate before, but I want to also draw attention to something else that the New York Times reported, and I believe it's absolutely true, and I'll explain why. So according to Michael Crowley and David Sanger at the Times, let's go to graphic 8, a real idea has been taking shape inside the Trump administration, a nuclear freeze, one that essentially enshrines the status quo and tacitly accepts the North as a nuclear power, something administration officials have often said they would never stand for. Now, John Bolton is very upset at this reporting, and he's arguing, no, this isn't true, this is a lie, we're not gonna allow them to remain a nuclear power to develop their nuclear weapons. But I think it absolutely is true. And the reason why I think that is because Trump wants it to appear as though he is winning in these negotiations, right? A good way to make it appear that you're winning is to just let North Korea do what it does, and then go out to the public and say, look, we don't have to worry about anything anymore. They're not threatening us, we don't have any issues. And do you really think Kim Jong-un has any incentive to denuclearize? Because North Korea doesn't live on an island where they have absolutely no access to what's going on in the rest of the world. Donald Trump ripped up the Iran nuclear deal, right? I mean, if Trump is able to renege on that nuclear deal, why would any other world leader enter a real good faith negotiation or a binding agreement with him, knowing that he's not a man of his word, that he doesn't actually respect previous agreements or previous deals? And also, look at what Trump wants to do in Venezuela, where he wants to stage a coup to oust the leader there because he doesn't like him and he wants access to the oil. Anyone who is currently working on a nuclear program would be stupid to make a deal with Donald Trump. That's not saying I don't want a deal. That's not saying I don't want North Korea to denuclearize. I'm just trying to make a point about how Trump's behavior is counterproductive to what he actually wants to accomplish.
All right, one last thing. Look, on the Bolton issue, we disagree with Bolton more than we disagree with Trump. I hope Bolton's fired. I hope, because he's trying to start a war with any country that'll have his wars. Having said that, though, look at this quote from Donald Trump to give you a sense of his priorities, which proves what Anna was saying perfectly. He says he was relieved that Kim Jong-un came to their meeting. He said, quote, if he didn't show up, the press was going to make me look very bad. So you made us both look good, and I appreciate it, he told Kim. Because this is all about how does Donald Trump look? This is not about whether they have nukes or not. One last comparison to the Iran deal. Obama not only ended the complete nuclear program of Iran, but it must be made clear they never had a nuclear weapons program. He ended their nuclear energy program and made a deal so that they didn't even have any uranium to even start a nuclear energy, let alone a weapons program. I mean, it was completely thorough, ended it completely. Now there's sunset provisions, but that was as good a deal as you could expect. In this case, Trump has let North Korea build 6 more nukes, not a nuclear energy program, a nuclear weapons program, right underneath his nose. And what is he obsessed with? How does it make me look? How does it make me look? Kim Jong-un made me look good. He can build all the nukes he likes. And why is he pressing for conflict with Iran but not with North Korea? Because North Korea doesn't have oil, Iran has oil, Venezuela has oil. And by the way, reporters, come on, goddamn it, do your jobs. There's 50 dictators in the world. We're picking on Iran and Venezuela, who just happen to be sitting on top of a mountain of oil. But golly gee, I can't tell. Here's another butcher, Kim Jong-un. Trump loves him. Mohammed Bonsal Salman. Trump loves him. We're worried about dictators. We're worried about human rights. No, we're not. No reasonable reporter could report that with a straight face. But it was Trump and the Republicans saying, hey, I gotta be neutral. My editor said, screw the facts. Who cares about the facts? Be neutral, be neutral. Stop it, be objective reporters. We don't give a damn about human rights and we don't give a damn about dictators. You just wanna start these wars in Iran and Venezuela because of the oil, and you'll let North Korea develop any nukes you want because that's who Trump is. All he cares is about himself and his own electoral chances. He's disgusting.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.